Hi, I'm Leo. My story is of depression, a dark and scary path I found myself go down a few years ago. Throughout my high school years, I felt this internal sadness that I couldn't get out. All I could feel was pain, and I was embarrassed to feel this way because everyone else seemed so happy. But I was lost, and I hated myself for it. For years I suffered and didn't tell anyone about it. I just wanted to give up on life.
Hey, I'm Nina. My earliest memories of my childhood were in an orphanage, so I've never met my parents. My mother was kicked out of her family home at the age of 16 when she fell pregnant with me. I was one of the eldest of the orphanage, always looking after the other children. The owners of the orphanage would discriminate those with intellectual problems, telling them that they had no future. They had no regard for the feelings of others. It made me so furious how much they mistreated the children.
Hey, I'm Caleb. As an infant, my mother passed away due to complications at birth. Ever since, it's just been my dad and I. When I was just 14, I had to leave school and start working full-time at the local farm. My dad got fired. He never turned up to work. He spent most of his time at the local pub drinking his life away. The pain of my mother's death was too much for him. He couldn't bear to look at me. He blamed me for her death.
One day, as I came home from school, I collapsed on my bed. I was exhausted of being so down all the time. As I laid there, I turned on the radio and a song came on. It was City in Colour with their song, Oh Sister. I lay there for 3 whole minutes listening immensely to their lyrics. As soon as the song was done, I went onto YouTube and listened to it over and over. The darkness in your heart won't last forever. I know it's tearing you apart, but it's a storm you can weather. It changed me. It made me feel that someone out there understood what I was going through and told me it was going to be okay. I spoke out, I got help, and that's how I changed my life.
But must carry suitcases and leaving heavy traces. Let it all just go to waste.
One day, I heard one of the owners of the orphanage laughing at one of the girls who had an intellectual problem. I decided that I didn't want to live in the shadow of people like this, so I went up to them and told them what they were doing was wrong and cruel. I stood up for what I believed in. I promised myself to always be true to who I am and my beliefs. Soon after, I saved up some money from working at a nursing home and moved out of the orphanage, never forgetting about the kids who were still in there.
Let it all tear us apart. You've got it for this game.
I listened to an old Irish man. I was working early on the farm one morning when this old Irish man came up to me and started telling me about how I have the potential to make a better future for myself. I thought he was crazy and just kept working. Later on, he brought me some of his old books. They looked dusty and boring, but I put them in my bag and forgot about them. Until one night, they fell out, and I picked up one and read the first page. Ever since, I couldn't stop reading. I educated myself, even though I didn't go to school. I read all these stories about these people, and their inspiring stories about how they made a life for themselves, even though they didn't have much. I was inspired.
My name's Sophia. I don't have a story of pain and suffering, but I'm not your average teenager either. I've been inspired by people's stories like Leo and Nina and Caleb, who have changed their lives around to help build a better future for themselves and for the future of others. I have strong beliefs in embracing cultural diversity and respecting the stories that people share. I believe that everybody has the ability to make a change, and that all we have to do is start. We need you to help change the world, because together we can make a movement that will impact on generations to come.
Let it all just go to waste. This head fart's just not a game of play.